How's it going, peeps? Welcome back to Viva La Coin. I am Viva. I'll be your host for today's episode, and boy, do we have a lot to catch up on. So outside of all the chaos in the markets and everyone trying to figure out who is selling, who's leaving where, how our NFT project's going to hold up, over at Nemonium, it has just been head down building across the board and everything that we want to do. Now, the last video I made was essentially purchasing and going through the mint process of my Fauna piece. That was our phase 2, and that was a couple weeks ago. So we have a series of different updates that I'm going to go through with you here, and there's a lot of external eyes that are starting to come over and join into our community based on a recent drop that we had with Natalie Shao, as well as the Nemonium origin comic that was created by the artist that was also working with Muggos. So I'll be showing you those pieces as well as a massive drop that we have coming up. I appreciate everyone's patience with me and not making a video for the past 2 weeks, simply because not only did Jay Crypto restructure his DAO off to where he's just inviting specific guests to come up and speak, which I think is a little bit better to give other people coverage, but also for myself, between myself changing a job, my girlfriend changing jobs, us both moving simultaneously, some family health issues, and everything in between, not discounting the market chaos. It's been a lot, but we've still been going nonstop, and I've been hosting plenty of Twitter spaces as well and getting a person-to-person view on what people think we're building, or a lot of questions about how to come in. And I will actually be hosting one of those later tonight, and it's just an AMA. So anyone can come in, access myself or anyone else from the Nemonium community or team that's in there, and it'll be a great time. But let's go over some of the updates that you are all here for. And ultimately, if you have any questions by the end of the video, feel free to come and comment down below or hit me up directly on Twitter at VivaLaCoinBTC. So aside from some of the fun things that we've been doing, like having our meme war officially take off with Goat Tribe, who are the meme captains, there have been several different functional updates and things that we've been working towards, not only from a development side, an artist side, but just a positioning side, to be able to make our community as functional as possible. Now, to clarify, I am not an oracle, I am not a wizard, this is not financial advice. I am just someone that's passionate about building something that lasts for people in the community that care about artists, that care about value, that care about each other. So when we go through this, I always like to clarify that there is no fully front-to-back functional DAO in the sense of it's fully autonomous yet. And a lot of our main community members know that, and we disclose that on a lot of our other mints. But I feel like it's important for anyone else coming in, when you read through these announcements and you hear about the things that we're doing, there's steps to get to where we need to go to make sure that anyone can enter and exit as they please, that we can utilize our voting power in different ways to put forth proposals that everyone that is capable can participate in and benefit from. All of those things take a significant amount of time, a significant amount of trust, especially prior to those things being fully autonomous and running on their own. So as I cover this, it's probably going to start to paint a much broader picture of everything that we've been working on, as opposed to just putting out the previous phases. And as that comes into view, I think that's where a lot more people are beginning to really see the total vision that Nemo has put forth. So the first thing was we had our mint come up with Natalie Shao, that is a Ethereum-based digital photographer and artist, and she came over and created a piece that I'll share with you here shortly, along with her origin comics. But we partnered with a development team and a minting service known as Ada Anvil. And they're brand new coming up, but they're not new in the sense of they are run by many of the community members and developers that we're already familiar with in the CNFT space, whether it was with their involvement separately with Benjamin's Club, or if it was individuals that have been here for a while like Cash, or even PB over from My Enlightenment tokens that spin the nice fuck you tokens. I love those. But these people came together and they created a minting service that is in and of itself designed to make the smoothest minting process as possible. So Nemo knew going into this mint that we wanted to be able to mint 2 different policy IDs flawlessly. And they were able to execute that perfectly. And that was actually on May 3rd. And you can see this down here that the mint was live. And that's actually Natalie's piece that she did. Turned out incredibly And I could not be more happy with exactly, the direction that she went with it. Now, a lot of individuals asked, well, a lot of them look the same. Is there a reason for that? And yes, there actually will be utility for this. And I'll cover that in 1 second here. And I think that it's really cool. But let's go over and look at the actual minting website. So when you went in here, you were able to mint for a series of days. Actually, it was open for a significant amount of time, and you could choose whether to mint solely Natalie's piece, or you could also get the origin comic that we made as well, and that was coming from the Muggos artist that is working with us separately to create these comics. Now, I minted several of both just because I love the art. I love how it tells a story. It's kind of us building up metaphorically as a community. It's the origin story of Nemonium, and the art is incredible. They did a phenomenal job. But here's the fun part. So when it came to the questions about, well, how many are there? So Nemo posted that it was going to be open for a considerable amount of time, up to 3,100 pieces. Nemo's a big fan for the number 13 or 31 in reverse. But the utility behind this is we've been working with a separate studio that Nemo's been coordinating called Siberia. And Shrink, one of their artists, or on Twitter, Adam of God, not only created a couple teaser pieces and things that he put out for Nemonium, but they've been working on a real Nemonium world. I tend to stay away from the idea or the trigger word of metaverse, but it will be something where we can all come together and communicate and congregate and build on top of. And these initial steps are not only achievable, it's not us coming out and saying that we're going to make Ready Player One within the next 6 months, but you're going to be able to burn or submit either your Natalie Shao digital piece or the origin comic, either one, and it will be a 1-for-1 placement holder for your Siberia piece with Nemonium within that world. Now, there's still more updates to come on this, but I thought that it was really cool how it kind of comes back and ties into something that you see a lot of other projects doing. We're just doing it a little bit differently and aiming to get back to the community members internally, as opposed to going out and, let's say, just buying a lot of metaverse land from a different project. So you're going to see that a lot within Nemonium. We want to build value internally, bring in artists internally, provide opportunities internally, as opposed to pay the price to go out and just purchase someone else's work. Now, for the other thing that we did, and this is a little bit different than you see a lot of other different DAOs that are working towards that full functionality are going. I've spoken plenty of times about us not going and purchasing blue chip art. It's the same sort of concept that we wouldn't want to go and buy, tens of thousands of ADA worth of someone else's metaverse land. We want to be able to remain liquid. It's important for anyone in our community, if we have to pivot or if we have to provide value, or God forbid someone has to leave, they should have the ability to do so. So we put together our first DeFi proposal, thanks to Border Riviere and Nemo working on that. And he's a great team member. He also does the Nemonium Chronicles write-up, which with all these updates, I'm sure that there's going to be more of that coming. But we voted on that collectively, and out of 167 votes for and 4 votes against, the proposal went through. Now, for that phase 1 DAO piece that we first put out, that signified your vote, and you could come in and you were able to decide, do I think this is a good idea or maybe not, or share your thoughts. Now, of course, when it comes to voting, you want participation. You want people to feel involved. It's just at this stage, a lot of individuals, when you go into different projects, I see a lot of people think, well, the team will handle it. The team will make the decisions. Well, in Nemonium, our community is somewhat our team. Everyone that's involved, every daily conversation, every good idea, every game night, every collaboration, all comes back to us being able to provide insight to each other and for each other to make the best decisions moving forward. Now, some of these different places that the ADA was invested into, it could be AGIX, which is just singularity.net and has a lot to do with AI functionality and cross-chain and building forward the Cardano blockchain as a whole. World Mobile token that has to do with mesh networks and communication and identification. A lot of people are more familiar with the more widely known external Helium network, but World Mobile token was another place that we invested in, as well as Meld, where we could put some of this, investment to use. Now, those different places where we're staking things or the min rewards from the World Mobile token or Meld ADA farms, those are harvested daily and swapped back into ADA that will come back to our community and be able to fund things moving forward with different artists and projects and collaborations internally, as opposed to just continuously putting out for the sake of raising money, new phases or different things. We want a sustainable foundation, a bedrock of ways to earn passively for our community, and then we can then have the freedom to work actively to build different value. So it was a very exciting thing to watch pass. It was a very in-depth write-up, and the reasoning behind it was incredible. And that's just coming from a community member that helped create it. Those opportunities are there, and seeing people take advantage of them is pretty incredible. Now, you might have seen me post on Twitter a couple days over the last week about these different skulls that are coming out. I absolutely fell in love with the art. I think that they're so unique and they're all so different that I couldn't help but share them. So for anyone that was unfamiliar with these skulls, or maybe even participated in our meme war with Go Tribe and MFers and all those other individuals, this is actually going to be a part of a much larger collection. And this was one of our more recent announcements. But it's created by Joshua Jones, who I actually was unfamiliar with up until seeing these sneak peeks and seeing these processes. Nemo has a funny way of finding incredibly talented artists that in his eyes are either underappreciated or maybe not seeing the light of day that would, denote how great their art is. So that collaboration has been in the works for a minute. And if you want, go show some love to them. They're on Twitter, but just to see some of their updates and how talented they are, I think is very incredible. But this upcoming drop will actually be 13,000 assets. It's the largest drop that we're going to have. And it is both centered internally within our community, where anyone that has either the OG Skull, the Fauna Phase 2, the Origin DAO pieces, an LP token holder, the Natalie Shao piece, or the Origin comic, if you hold any of those, you're automatically whitelisted for the upcoming drop. And this is 13,000 assets, all one of one with rarity, which Nemo accidentally almost revealed when he was first going over this announcement prior to posting it. Which was kind of funny. Don't want to give away any of the surprises there. But the goal here, and I'm going to read this verbatim because I do believe that it's important. He said, the following drop will basically tie the loose ends and provide something I planned for a long time. I always believed that if I have a chance to provide people a way into our DAO part of Nemonium, I should also give them back the chance to get out if they wish. So being able to enter is one thing, but it's always been important to Nemo and by extension the team that if people want to leave or have to leave or need to take care of things in real life, or maybe they just decide it's not for them, you have to be able to provide them an exit. So in his thought process to do that, therefore the parts of the proceeds from this drop, roughly about 92,000 Cardano, which is the 1333 DAO Origin pieces, you'll be able to submit those pieces back into our address over here and receive the 69 Cardano that you paid initially to mint. So if you decide to leave and you want to give that specific piece back, you're not going to leave with nothing. It's a way to ensure that people can come and participate, but we're never going to undercut individuals if they have to pivot or leave. So the way that it would work is you send X amount of ADA for the mint price plus the LP token. And, that's the other update down below. There's so many updates. So Discord kind of crams it all together. But you'll be able to send that back in, get a refund of 69 ADA, which is the minted price for the Origin DAO tokens. That asset will be sent to that address and will be burned, and will provide the remaining holders more value in the Nemonium DAO. So as people exit, the things that we have, that we build internally, our voting voice, our ability to steer towards more value in the project will continue to grow because individuals would have sent those things back in. So it incentivizes people that do stay around and do see the long-term vision and do want to build. There was also an update as well. A lot of individuals that had the LP tokens, they've been asking, so what is next on task for utility here? So he also clarified that. Besides the upcoming drop, we'll also provide something for the long-term bros, as he calls them, but that is our LP vote holders. So anyone that has that token will be whitelisted for the drop that is coming up specifically for them. And they'll also have an option to send their LP vote token and get one extra asset in return. So for example, you send X amount of ADA for the mint price and the LP token, the token gets burned and you get 2 NFTs from the drop. This is my thank you for being here from the very start. After this drop, there will be no additional utility for the LP tokens anymore going forward. So this is kind of the long-term game of the initial people back in January that minted those LP tokens. You're going to be able to get an additional NFT for that in this final stage of building out the bedrock of what is the Nemonium ecosystem, and then the DAO that is separately functional in the future within that ecosystem. So a lot of great things coming, and you'll even see incredible artists like Fauna creating side projects and having fun with a concept that everyone saw the MFers. I know Ethereum had them. They came over to Cardano. So Fauna, being the unlimited creative that he is, decided to make Skull MFers. And a lot of individuals have been submitting art. And he even has a video down below. Incredible artists, including, you know, the fake no-nos, Lily, Udon, Thread World, and even Fart and Nemo and myself are working on individual custom pieces. But it's something that ties everyone in the community together, not only as investors, but it gets people to be able to create. And although I'm just the words guy, as I joke about, I do love the opportunity to be creative and make things as well. If I could put that out there and individuals enjoy it, it's something that's incredible to me. So ideally, I just wanted to make that video and highlight a lot of the things that we were working on, some of our main principles of providing value internally, making sure that we remain liquid in case we have to pivot, making sure that there are passive rewards for individuals for sustainability long term, making sure to provide an outlet for incredible artists that a lot of other individuals might not know, doing new and interesting ways to mint or burn things in order to gain access to Nemonium World, or even partnering up with Ada Anvil to make sure that our experience is as seamless as possible for everyone involved. And it just really goes to show that in these times when it is tough, you know, the market is down, Cardano is less valuable. You know, are you going to pin yourself in a corner where you can't afford to pay your team? If people have bills to pay, if you have projects to build, if you have studios to hire or work with, if you have merchandise that was on hold, all these different things, you still have to be able to get from point A to point B. And I believe that Nemo, in preparation for this, how he did it and how involved everyone is in the community, it's going to allow us to get there together. So thank you for joining me on this episode of Viva La Coin and a lot of my updates about Nemonium and what we've been working on across the board over there. And tonight at 8 p.m. EST, I will be hosting that AMA for everyone. So feel free to jump in. It doesn't have to be solely Nemonium holders or ecosystem members at this point. If you're new, if you're unfamiliar with what we're doing, if you have any questions or even a concern, feel free to jump in and ask me anything. So aside from that, that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time.